recording. Because, like I said, we should have just been recording the fucking whole time.
Well, I'm gonna. Uh,
You're gonna what?
yeah,
Yeah, I'm
I'm
ready.
just gonna pretend like I'm not recording.
No, I mean, what are you talking about?
What
First rule,
are you
fight.
talking about? You're the best person to get in trouble with the cops with.
Oh, bro, come on. I fought the cops. I will fight the cops currently. I hope they show up.
So what were we talking about? We're
We're talking
talking
about
about money.
I'm talking about money, yeah, as always.
We're, we're talking about the hilarity of fucking the system.
The Matrix.
Um, yeah, man. I'm just ready. I don't know, man. I'm just ready. I'm ready to do something different.
Well, at least you're ready. Most people aren't. Most people are fucking cowards. They're pussies. They're like, oh, I hate the rich people. They're just so rich, and I'm just so poor. And I'm like, well, why don't you go, like, hang out with a homeless person and see how they feel about you? I'm like, are you,
Actually, that's kind of true. I mean, seriously,
it's
you know
like,
what's funny? People were saying like in third world countries, they were like kind of commenting on Americans for doing like the Occupy Wall Street, and they were like, you know, why are they protesting? Like everybody has money already. Like why are you guys? What are you guys protesting about? You know, they were,
yeah.
which kind of puts into perspective. Like everybody here is kind of rich in a
Well,
way.
the thing is, socialists hate poor people. They just hate to admit it. Because if you ask a socialist who's like, a middle class, well paid, working American, and they're like, hey, you're like, hey, if like I told you to go give that homeless guy $20, would you do it? They're gonna be like, no, fuck no, I'm poor as fuck. I don't have any money. I can't do that shit. I gotta eat tomorrow. You know what I mean? And you're like, oh, okay, but you want Elon Musk to give up 20% of his earnings to you.
Yeah.
Why? Well, he has more money than me. Oh, okay, but you have more money than them. So why won't you give them your money? Oh, because that's well, fuck, exactly. And then your whole concept breaks down, your world breaks down, and they just fall. They just don't get it. They're just like, what the fuck? I actually hate poor people. Yeah, I know, bro. It's okay.
I
It's
know.
okay
We
to
can
hate poor
tell.
people. Everyone hates poor people because people hate being poor. It's like
Interesting.
it's like every war that's ever happened, you know, every revolution I should say that's ever happened. It's just the poor people got really mad that the rich people were fucking on them, and they're like, fuck this shit.
And the rich don't even fight the wars. It's just the poor people fighting
Yeah,
each
they just send poor people to fucking try to win, but enough mad poor people is too much for a few good rich people. A few well trained rich armies, you know.
I gotta be honest. I mean, I guess in American standards, I am kind of poor. But
No, you're really not, bro. Like the world says that if you make more than $15,000 a year, you're above the poverty line.
I think I was making 15,000. But I guess technically right now I'm making none.
Yeah, I guess you are poor again.
So technically,
Yeah,
but I mean, I've got
you
savings.
are
Like
making more than 15 grand a year, bro. Come on.
I was working 3 days a week.
Oh, okay, yeah,
No, yeah, it was by choice.
yeah,
But,
but I mean,
that
you were.
that's America right there. Like I have the choice.
Yeah, exactly.
But technically, I would be considered right now I have like no income. I have no income. So, good luck getting a house or any kind of loan. I mean, they're gonna look at me and laugh. Like, what? You don't make money? What do you mean? And that's actually kind of sad. It's like you have to have a job. Like they need to look at your
They
income
want to
to
see
like give you loans.
they want to see that you've had a job for the last 3 months, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're like, "Are you being good?"
Yeah, they don't care if you have a job right. And you can't. Yeah, that like hop job to job shit. If you want to borrow money, good luck. Now, granted, you can get a credit card so easily, bro.
Yeah.
So easily. And the great thing about credit cards is that A, they're tax free, and B, if you fucking pay them off at the end of the month or at the end of the
There's
year,
no interest.
there's no interest.
Yeah, that's the game I'm playing right now. Like I had to realize because when I was growing up, my dad got me like really scared of credit, and like he was all about like Dave Ramsey, and that
Yeah.
guy was all about like fuck credit. But I get it and I understand it, but me being scared of it kind of put me in a bad spot when I like wanted to let's say move out and get an apartment, and I had
Yeah.
no
You
credit.
have no
So
credit.
it's kind of a game.
No
Like as long
no
as you're
renter's
smart with
history.
it.
Yeah, so like, obviously we had to get a big loan to get this house, and like, yeah, my credit score was not as good as I thought it was, and but my wife's is amazing, so luckily they approved us. But that's when I realized I just needed to get the shit up, and it's so easy, bro.
It honestly is.
It's so easy. Buy a credit card. Buy like something easy with it. Pay it off. And you just keep
I've
paying.
been just doing like what do you call it? Like just my lower bills, like
Yeah,
my water bill or
yeah,
like
that's what
my
I'm
so
saying.
the
You
ones
don't want to
that
do
I have
something.
to pay.
You don't want to do something that's fluctuating like gas or something like that.
Right, and on top of that, here's the thing. So the one that I have now, I got another credit card, and my credit improved. So I was like, okay, let me get a different one, and I got one that actually gives me 2% back on everything I spend.
A Chase?
So technically, actually, no, I wish it was. I got actually denied by Chase, which sucks because I want their Freedom Flex card so bad. I have this, and I recommend you get it if you can. Honestly, it's pretty good. It's the City Double Cash, and basically you get 2% back on everything. You get 1% back when you spend and 1% back when you pay it off. So if you buy just your bills with it, you get money back from paying your bills. Like
Like two
it's a fucking
percent,
hack.
2% of $500. Yeah.
Hey, it's money back.
No, I'm
I
saying,
have
but that's
$70
but
sitting in
yeah, I
there.
was gonna say 2% of 500 is still, $50 or whatever. It's a lot of money. You know.
Yeah, it's nice to get money back for something that I have to
Yeah,
pay
you're
money on
making money
anyway.
for spending for building credit. That is a hack.
It's a hack. It's literally that's so. I started to realize like that's kind of what people do. I know like there's this one YouTuber that I don't really watch him as much as I used to, but he had really good insights about like just getting a bunch of credit cards and using all like the points and sign-on bonuses. Like a lot of cards have sign-on bonuses. So he would basically say it was Graham Stephen. He would basically say just sign up for a bunch of cards and do whatever it took to get the sign-on bonus, which is like free money. Like hey, spend $500 in 3 months and we'll give you $200 or $300. I'm like what? That's easy. It's just a food. That's just the food I spend in three months. 500. Like it's
Exactly.
just food. That's it.
Yeah.
So then you get $300 back or $200 back. That's literally free money. They're paying for your food
Hmm.
if you just sign up for a bunch of cards and just get all the rewards and just like learn how
Absolutely.
to just jug it, bro. I was like, what?
The beautiful thing about you don't pay taxes on borrowed money. You just pay interest, bro. It's a
Nutty.
golden rule to live by. You don't pay taxes on borrowed money. You just pay interest. So if you
Isn't
pay,
that how the wealthy are using like all
yes,
their debt?
absolutely, bro. Donald Trump, our president, said debt is the best thing you can have. He's like, if I get $1 million loan and I buy a $2 million casino, because I have $1 million in capital and I get $1 million loan and I buy a $2 million casino and the casino generates $5 million, well, I pay the guy his $2 million, or I pay the guy his $1 million, and I made $4 million. You know,
Yeah.
debt is the best thing you can have, because if you can afford the debt and pay it off in a reasonable time to where you're not paying 18 to 20% interest on a loan, then fuck, bro. They just let you borrow 100 grand. It's 100 grand. You can do whatever the fuck you want with it. It's a business loan. You just go in and you say, hey, I want to start a business. I have a 650 credit score and I need 50 grand. And they're like, okay. Are you gonna pay it back? And you're like, oh yeah, most definitely. And then you just do whatever you need to do to pay that money back. And then you fucking turn 50 into 150 into 250, and then you pay them 50 grand, and you made 200 grand. You know what I mean? And that's how you make money. That's how
Yeah.
that's how wealthy people make money. Not rich people, wealthy people.
Well, what they do is what I think what I'm starting to understand as I learn how to make or I want to make more money and I'm sitting here like how do the rich people do it? I'm starting to understand that I think they really what they do is they don't take debt for like the frivolous things. They'll use debt and put it into equity so that the
Absolutely.
debt is paying itself off.
Yes. You don't want to get a loan for like a car or a
Right.
house or a
Exactly.
school, because these things make you poorer, not richer.
Well, technically, a house you could say no. You can make cash from a house,
Well,
but
yeah,
it's just
but
certain things you can't.
I mean, you don't want to get a loan for a house that you're planning on living in for 30 years.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
see
I
what I'm
know what you're
saying?
saying.
Like, you don't want to
Yeah.
like, I'll get a $120,000 loan and buy this $115,000 house and live here for the rest of my life and pay a mortgage for 30 years. No, that's dumb. That's slavery.
Ugh,
Yeah,
God, 30-year loans, bro. 30-year loans.
that's
That's
what I just took. I
nuts.
just took a 30-year loan. I did.
Yeah, but it's normal. It's like normalized. It's like I think they even go further now, don't they? It's fucking insane.
Yeah. Well, you can refinance your house if you need, like, if If you can like take money out of your mortgage basically, like borrow money against your mortgage, if that makes sense. If you need it,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
then
yeah.
it extends your loan by like 20 more years or some shit.
Well, that's what that one lady does. She will refinance one home and then use all that money she gets back or whatever, and she'll buy another house.
Yeah,
And then, but like she makes cash off of each one that she rents out to people.
yeah,
That's
that's
very interesting. I'm
genius.
like, that's rich people shit. Like, I mean, that's what they do. They just kind of play with money, but they play with debt. One of the things she told me, she was like, hey, just get with your bank and like get friendly with them, work with them, use their loans and use it to make money. I'm like, oh, that's how they do it. It's not necessarily like they have to work for 40 years and make a million. No, like they just start with debt. They just start with loans and they just use loans and leverage. And if you're smart, you can make money off of the borrowed money, and that the money pays its money off. Like you're basically paying the debt off with the debt,
It's
which is kind of
absolutely
crazy.
all about leverage, as you know, because we watch the same content.
Yeah,
It's all about leverage, and it's all about you know creating your own luck, as they say. Don't wanna
yeah.
get
That
lucky.
that's
Don't wanna
that's
get
what I'm
lucky,
starting to
man.
realize.
Don't wanna get lucky. You
No,
know, you gotta move with accuracy. That's what it's about. It's about being purposeful in your intentions and manifesting. I really do believe in like just like telling yourself like, no, I'm not gonna fucking be poor. You know, not
that's
like
the first
I don't
step.
I
Yeah,
don't
that's
I
the
don't
first step.
believe in divine. Like if you tell yourself that shit enough, then you'll just become rich. Like no, no,
Yeah, you're not gonna just click your heels together and it happens. But
exactly.
like, but at the same time,
That's on some postmodernism bullshit though. That's what they really think.
the secret.
Yeah, they're like, oh, bro, just keep telling yourself every day. It's like, well, yeah, but you gotta do something.
Yeah, I mean, you have to actualize it in some way.
Well, but our society is at a point where like people think they don't. They're just like sitting around waiting, watching other people's content, waiting to get rich.
Yeah,
And it's
100%. I gotta be honest. I think I was there at one point where I'm just kind of sitting there, like people call it like tutorial hell. Like I'm just sitting there watching videos on how to make a couple bucks, some side hustles, yada yada, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not actually doing anything. I'm just sitting here watching other people do it,
yeah, and they're
and
like
I'm
getting
not doing shit.
and the craziest thing about that the tutorial health thing is those people are making money while you're doing that from you.
Right.
You're like paying them to like sit there in that perpetual like hell watching their content while they're making the content and doing the thing that you want to do, making money.
I think I've come to realize it really comes down to like lately. What I've been doing is I've just been reading a lot about like uh, getting out of your own way. Like that's what I've been all about lately. That's why I left my job. Like I just walked out. I just realized like yeah, this job I make money from it, but it's slowing me down from all my passion projects. Like I'm trying to make music, I'm trying to do all this stuff. And then I realized it's just added stress, it's added anxiety. It's if my mind isn't right, if my headspace isn't right, if I'm not in that flow state, how can I possibly make like actual real
Moves.
progress?
Yeah.
I don't
Can't
know. It's just
can't
I
make
think that's
moves.
I think that's actually the first step. I honestly believe before I even start trying to make money and stuff, and before I try to build a better life for myself, I think the very first thing is because just like a lot of people say, I mean, even fucking Cobra Tate, he was like, more money is just gonna exaggerate what you already are. So why don't I just fix my mind first?
Yeah.
Like that's where I'm at now.
And
Like let
you're
me just become.
and physically, you gotta become
I agree.
physically fit.
The
Not
mind and
not
body are connected.
not necessarily yoked. You don't have to be jacked. You don't have to
You don't
be
have to
zero
be.
percent body fat or anything like that. That's bullshit. But you don't need to be a diabetic, heart diseased failure in your 40s.
That's all preventable.
Like, oh yeah, dude. I was talking to my friend today, and we were talking about like how cancer is like only become like the leading cause of death in the last like 40 years, and that's just because people smoke cigarettes for 80. You know what I mean?
I mean, look at heart disease. This shit is
Well, yeah,
ridiculous.
that's what I was saying. I was like, yeah, bro, cancer's. Sorry, I'm changing clothes. Cancer's bad, but what about fucking heart disease, bro?
It's
And
insane.
guess what? Heart disease, 100% preventable. Like 100% preventable. Diabetes, 100% preventable. Leading cause of death, third leading cause of death in America, I believe. It's like heart disease, cancer, type 2 diabetes. Yeah,
That's ridiculous.
and then it's like COVID, I guess. No, I'm kidding.
I don't know. It's just at this point, that's where I'm at. Like, I have started to really like. I don't talk to a lot of people anymore. I don't really hang out and go to the clubs anymore. I don't do a lot of different things. I've kind of like started living almost like a monk, but it's because I'm trying to like unlearn. I'm trying to unlearn all the bullshit, all the bad habits that I used to have. Like I'm just doing everything differently because I think before I even try to make money, it's like I better make sure that I'm good first. Really, I mean, I don't want to be a complete degenerate and then just somehow start making a lot of money if I get lucky or whatever, and then I'm just a degenerate with a lot of money and I'm gonna fucking kill myself,
Yeah,
in some
or
way,
waste it all away. Yeah.
or just waste it all away and just work for nothing. It's just that's not what I want. I want that long lasting shit.
Yeah, you want to be wealthy.
Yeah, I want to be fucking wealthy. Exactly. I want to be smart. I want to be smart with this shit. Like I want to actually live a good life. I want to be peace. I want to be at peace. I don't want to be
I
fucking.
just want to be
I don't
able
want to
to.
be.
I just want to be able to get out, man. I literally just want to be able to, at a moment's notice, hop on the fucking thing and go. Like,
Yes, me too.
that's what I want. I don't care about the peace, cause fuck that. The world is messy. That's not ever gonna happen in your lifetime or mine. There's never gonna be like this moment of just like complete serenity. Like,
Man, I gotta be honest with you. I think it's less about world peace and more about peace of mind.
oh yeah. I mean,
That's what's more important to me because I honestly don't. To be
but
real with you, I don't care about the world.
yeah, but I guess that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like peace of mind comes from like I don't know. It comes from like hard work and perseverance.
It's the opposite. It comes from an actual lack of resistance. And a lot of these resistances we have are self created. We have these things in our mind where we tell ourselves, for instance, work hard. Why? I don't actually work hard, I'll be honest with you. I get up at 4 a.m. I don't even have a job. I guess still get up at 4 or 5 a.m. I start making beats. I start coding. I start doing the things that I love, and it does not feel like work. I don't believe in hard work anymore. Like, I don't work hard. Does this feel like hard work? Us making content? Like, it does not. Like, this is just us doing our thing. This is what we do naturally.
Yeah.
And I think that's what like Naval, and I love Naval. Like I think he has such a great way to talk to business people because it's all about that flow state. He's always like, don't try to find something that looks like work to others but is play to you. Because it's not about how hard you work. Because if we fundamentalize, like if you put that idea down and say, okay, well the guy working at the restaurant like we used to for fucking 50 hours a week, but then there's someone like I don't know, Mr. Beast, who probably works about 50, 60 hours a week, but look at the output difference. It's not about how hard you work. We probably worked harder than he did, like physically at least, especially. So it's like that really is proof. Like hard work is not the most important thing. I don't even think it's even close. I literally think it's about judgment. It's about making the right decisions. It's just like Melee. It's like, yeah, you can press more buttons, but who's pressing the right ones? Like I mean, I know you probably understand that game more than I do, but still, that's how I look at it. It's literally about
No, that's
I don't,
absolutely correct. And it's more like chess,
yes,
where it's like it's not about because there's situations in chess where you're just losing, right? You're just losing,
right.
like you're just gonna lose the game. They have no pieces, or your king's in a fucked up position and you can't get out. But you still have to make the correct decision, or you really will lose the game.
Yeah,
Like you can still win from these fucked up positions, but you have to make the correct decision. There's only one, two. Well, there's not only one, but like there's usually like two or three things that you can do, but I don't even want to get it. It's just like you have to make the right call, and it's the same way when you're like doing anything combative, like melee or fighting or anything like that. If you make the wrong decision, you get fucked up. You get knocked out. You get killed. You get whatever happens. And it's the same thing in life. If you don't make the correct decisions,
it hurts more. Yeah, it hurts
then
like
you
it hits you hard.
lose the game. You
Yeah.
lose the game. You lose the situation. You die. That's just the way it is. That's the way it is in everything. And that's why games like Melee and things like fighting and learning disciplines is so important because it teaches you this basic concept where it's like if you don't make the right calls in life, you're just going to get fucking knocked out, you know?
But I actually think life. Well, typically it depends. I guess it depends how bad your decision is. But I think life can actually be even more. What's the word? Forgiving than a game. Even games are more cutthroat than life, which people would think is the opposite. But I think in life, people get 3,000 chances.
Yep.
But like in chess, you lose really quickly. Like it's actually your loss is decided way before you even think, especially when you're against someone really good. So
Mhm.
it's like life is very forgiving, and there's
Yep.
so many different things that people can do. That's kind of why I'm so I want to get away from like working hard for no reason. Like I used to do that. I used to be. It was all out of like anxiety. Like I was just thinking that I had to be 60 hours a week, and that's the only way to make money. That's the only way to do it. But I was running myself dry and like not doing something I enjoyed, and I wasn't really making that much money.
Yeah.
It's like the output
I
didn't
mean,
really match it.
you've always been one of the hardest working people I've known. So
I've always had a job. Like out of all my buddies and stuff, like I've always had
you've
it. I've just
always had a
always
job. You used
just
to tell us like, you don't
working.
have a fucking job, bro. What the fuck? Just go get one. They're free. You can get one wherever you want. And do whatever you
Yeah.
want, bro. Just go work at fucking McDonald's for 3 days and quit, and then go somewhere else and be like, yeah, I have restaurant experience, and go work at a restaurant and like fucking, you know.
And like I still think it's applicable to people who have like starting from the bottom, and like even me, like if I need to get a little extra cash, yeah, go get a job, it's fine. But I think at the end of the day, most people can easily say, unless it's their career choice, they don't really want to work for someone else unless it's like something they fucking love.
Yeah.
Most people don't want to do that, and
And
I think
I'm fortunate. My job, I like what I do. You know, I do
yeah,
enjoy like my work, but at the same time, like I would rather I own the shop,
right,
you know,
right,
and made my own
absolutely.
schedule and whatnot, you know. But I don't because I'm poor. And yeah, no, I 100% agree that most people would rather work for themselves. That's why you saw such a big boom of this fucking like work from home shit after the COVID, because people were just like, oh shit, I need to
We
make
don't have
money.
to do
We
that,
don't
yeah.
have to
And
go
people,
back to work.
exactly. A lot of people realize like, oh, I can just like do a YouTube channel, or like, oh, I can just I don't know, fucking invest in crypto, and they're like, people just go crazy. They're like, oh, I don't. People are kind of waking up. They're like, I don't really want to go back to fucking work. It's
Ever.
shitty. And like I said, it's not always bad, and I don't look down on people who work. I mean, I have worked my whole fucking life so far for the past 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like 10 years or so.
About 10 years, man.
Yeah, about 10. I started working at 16. I'm 27, so yeah, about like 10, 11 years I've been working, and that's and I kind of sometimes I get a little impatient, but that's that resistance right there. When you feel that impatience, when you feel that like, oh, I need to do something, I need to do something. Yes, it's okay to be passionate, but at the same time, don't get impatient because it just creates more resistance. It just makes it harder. It's like just flow. I'm trying to get into that flow state. It's very difficult because I'm trying to unlearn all that anxiety and all that immigrant dad, in my face about like you better fucking work, boy, like you better work. But I'm,
My dad,
but I want,
military, very strict, you
yeah,
know, like very just like,
very man. He was
gotta
so
have a job.
strict.
Out at
Absolutely.
18, like type shit, you know.
Yeah, yeah. But
And
at the same time, I understand that it's actually work smarter, not harder. It's about building better judgment and developing skills to where money comes to you.
yeah,
That's what it's all about.
yeah.
That's what I'm starting to
And I
realize.
think about like the skills that you think you learn when you're doing something that you enjoy. I guess the way I should word it is the skills that you learn when you're doing something you enjoy translate into much larger world skills than you would imagine. Like
Right,
when you're doing something like playing Melee, you meet all these people, you know, but you don't understand that what you're doing is like making network connections, and you can go do that anywhere. As long as you're able to like walk up to someone and be like, "Hey, you want to play a set?" and you talk to them, and you're like, "How long you been playing?" Like you go to a fucking, you know, go to a realtor meeting and be like, "Hey, what's your name? How long have you been doing realty?" Blah blah blah. Like, you know,
yeah.
you want to sell a house together? Like exact same process. You know what I mean?
I
And
think I've actually downplayed the networking. Well, maybe I didn't downplay it, but I did. I think I did it wrong at first. Like so, like with me doing music and making beats and trying to meet rappers, like I met a lot of really shitty people. Like I got to be honest, and it kind of made me not want to meet people anymore. But at the same time, it's I have to get back into it. I think networking it's obviously important, but I do want to get picky about. I'm really picky. Like that's one thing. I'm good at network, but I'm really picky about who I work with. I don't want to just work with everybody, and I don't want to just know like I don't want to just like work with anyone. I do want to make sure that people are just on the same type of understanding, like just they have the same mindset, or not the exact same. Like I don't want someone who's agreeable. I just want someone like who is just about it. Like yeah, like they want to get something done. Because I mean, yeah, obviously network's important. You have to have a network, but I just want a network of the right folks. You don't want just some dummies around you.
absolutely not. And you don't want people who are going to drag you down. who are like
Yeah,
who
I've
are
had to do
like
that recently, bro. I have had to kick people out
yeah,
recently.
yeah. You don't want people who are like either a like I don't know. I have this problem right now because I've got this friend who will not be named because this is recorded and I don't want to blast dox him or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
But I've got this friend who really wants to be a part of my content, but he's really young, and I keep trying to talk to him to like vet him. You know what I mean? And like doing this, what we're doing right now, I just try to do it with him, and like, he's like a generation under us, and like I'm more and more realizing like his views are so fucked. Like they're so bad, bro. Like I mean, like the takes that he gives me, I'm just like, absolutely. I had to explain to him like 5 different ways the other day about how like what he was saying was like completely untrue. He's like showing me these sources, and then I'm showing him like the actual source on how it's like not what happened. I'm like, bro, you just saw like a 3 minute clip because you're a fucking Gen Z and you just watch TikTok videos, and you just don't want people like that around you who are just gonna like make your content or whatever you're trying to do like less good. I guess like more shitty. Like you don't want people like, and I mean I'm not talking about like losers because like you obviously don't want losers around you who don't have any money and are just trying to take shit from you or like rip off your content or trying to like fucking like get a come up off you. You already cut those people out. If you haven't done that yet, you should totally do that. Fuck those people.
Yeah, yeah,
Because those people should not exist in your life. They never should have in the first place.
yeah.
That's
I
just
agree.
like poor judgment. Like you definitely don't want, moochers. But I'm talking about people who are like seem cool on a surface level, but the more you talk to them, you're like, wow, I really don't fucking like actually agree with anything this guy says, and I think his takes are bad. Because you put someone like that on like your content, people are just gonna be immediately be like, what the fuck?
Well,
You
actually,
know?
I don't actually even mind that. Like, I don't mind if someone comes in with some crazy stuff that I don't
Oh,
agree with.
I don't either.
It
It's not
actually makes more
that. It's
content.
not that. I'm not talking about like they just have a different opinion. I'm talking about like true ignorance. Yeah, like you actually don't know what you're talking about. Like if you have an opinion and your shit's like documented and like or not documented, but you know what I mean. Like you can like back up. You can like you know you can talk the talk. That's fine. But if you're just gonna like say some shit that you saw on the internet is true, and then I just like pull up the article and I'm like, nah, dog, this isn't real. Like I don't associate with people like that anymore. Like I want the facts. I'm searching for the truth. I only care about what's real. Like
Yeah, I gotta be real. Like, for me, it's been a lot of I've been focusing on the people who just don't want to do anything. Like, I guess I gotta be real. I mean, when I was in high school, I was kind of just a little degenerate. Like, I was getting straight Fs. Like, I didn't. I hung with the crowd, and I mean, we've known each other for long enough to
we
where
were the
we were
crowd.
probably both we were just not giving a fuck about anything. And like some people just don't move on. They don't want to grow up. They don't want to do something. And like there are people that I still kind of talk to sometimes, but I don't really go visit them anymore because I'm like, yo, if I just stick around them, I'm gonna be just like them.
We don't have any
Cobra Tate, bro. Cobra Tate was like, bro, everyone knows that you don't if you hang around the same 5 people, you're gonna be just like them, but they still hang out with people they don't want to be like. So it's like, when is it enough? When do you finally say like, I get it, we used to be best friends, or I get it, we used to be cool, but like, I don't want this lifestyle anymore. Like, you're not going anywhere. And it's not even about them, but it's like, you're not gonna. I want to go somewhere, and you're not gonna be able to help me, and you're gonna be in the way. Like, there's no time for us to just hang out and just do the same shit. I
Well,
can't
yeah,
just sit around, smoke weed, and fucking
yeah,
jerk off all day. I can't do that. I
and I
can't do
mean
it anymore.
like we've known each other a long fucking time, but we never did that. Like we never like just fucking. Whenever we were together, we're always like doing shit, making shit, like creating shit, rapping, like
Yeah.
whatever. Like it was never we were just like sitting around smoking. I mean, we did that, but we were
Well,
also
I think we definitely did, especially when we were younger. Oh, yeah,
that
when
was
we
just
were
that we were
kids. But
kids. But like
as we were getting older, and like, clearly, that's the reason why I
we
still
don't
talk to you, is
cool
because
like that.
clearly we don't want that forever. Like, we don't want that to be just the rest of our lives. Like, I think we could.
I
I
want
feel
that
like
to
we
be the
both have
rest of
so
my
much more
life,
than
but I
that.
need plenty of money first.
Yeah,
Uh,
good point. I mean, I don't mind just chilling, but at
it's
the
like,
same
bro, I
time,
would love to just sit around and smoke weed and play video games and talk shit, but
well, okay, I gotta be honest. I don't even like doing that much. But everyone's different. But I mean,
you know what I
I think,
mean? But I
but
mean,
at the
like,
same time, we like to do the same things. I think that's why I still get along with these. Like, we like to do the same kind of stuff. Like, we both want to make content. We both want to like make more money. We both want to just fuck
yeah,
around
but
and live
see,
the
like,
life we want
I
to
guess my
live.
point when I say that is like, it's 2022, bro. I can do that and get paid.
Good point.
That's my point. It's like, bro, that's what I would love to do: is sit around, play video games, talk shit, smoke weed. get paid. You know, I know plenty of
I
people
mean,
who do that
there's
shit.
so many different ways to make money with the internet. Like,
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
I'm
I
just
don't know. Yeah. I think I'm on the same boat as you. Like, it's just a matter of, well, what are we gonna do about it?
yep. I mean, what we're doing now is productive. Like this is this is good content. Um, Cobra Tate said he was like, "When was the last time you sat down and talked about money with like someone you know wants to make money?" He's like, "All these people are like, how do I make money?" He's like, "Well, have you even thought about it? Have you sat down and really weighed like all your options? You talk to someone you'd like to start a business with and been like, how can we, you know, make a million
That's
in 3 years?"
that's why I'm gonna be making that YouTube channel. That really, I wanna create that series basically
Yeah,
of like me
documentation.
starting from where I'm at. Yeah, just kind of showing people like,
Like,
hey,
look, I
this
have
is
no
my
job. You know.
right. Only a little bit of money that I've saved up. I quit my. I literally walked out on my job. It's probably gonna be my first video because everyone loves those kind of stories. Like, oh, he just quit his fucking job. Like, because I did. My boss came in there. I was just cutting the tops of strawberries. Fucking pissed off. I was like, I don't want to be here. I have to be here for another 5 hours, 6 hours. And he comes in there and says, hey, take your headphone out. I was like, what? I'm in the back where there's no one, nobody can fucking see me. There's not a window. I'm all the way in the back. There's no customers, and only one earbud is in. I can still hear. I immediately responded to you because I can hear you're right in front of me. Like I can hear you. I'm like, dude. Well, I actually looked at him. I was like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, man, I am serious. I was like, that's pretty lame. And I started to put it in my pocket, and then like, I literally 5 minutes later, it just kind of hit me. I was like, wait a minute. Today's the day. Like, I've already gone down to part time. I've already sold my car just so I could work less hours, just so that my bills were enough to. I made all these sacrifices. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I have enough money to at least last me a couple of months or so, and I'm just gonna hail Mary. I'm just gonna go make content. I'm gonna go make music. I'm gonna go practice coding. I'm just gonna do everything that I fucking want to do. And like that's the kind of shit that I'm gonna start talking about on my YouTube channel. That's the kind of shit I'm gonna start like basically documenting because I think that's the kind of shit that's kind of cool. I actually watch people like that. Like I'm highly inspired by someone called Spencer Cornelia. He has really cool content about like finance and shit. I suggest you look him up. Um, and he also likes to expose a lot of fake gurus and shit, which is pretty funny. But yeah, that guy like heavily inspired me. Like he was just house hacking, doing the same thing. Like kind of what I want to do, like just getting houses and
Check.
kind of flipping the rooms and shit. And like there's different ways to make money. He kind of documented it from the beginning. He used to tell people like, hey, this is how you buy groceries for a week with just $100. Like that's the kind of content I want to make because the other day I was in a Discord call just like this,
Yeah.
and my engineer, I have some guy, I have somebody who very talented with FL Studio. And they were just talking to me about, kind of like their money issues and that. I kind of just shared my screen with them and I kind of had a little notepad out and I was just kind of laying it out there, yada, yada, yada. I had my rapper buddy right next to me. And both of them were like, wow, like, you really are on your shit. Like, this is really good advice. Like, this is really good. And I was like, damn, I thought it was really basic, but like, some people have never even thought about it like that. So, like, you can share with that, even basic saving habits. You can share that with people on YouTube or something, and people will find a lot of value in that. Like that's the kind of stuff that I want to do.
Yeah,
Just kind of just
absolutely.
showing people.
I'm all about I'm all about that. I'm all about talking about male empowerment.
Yeah, I kind of want to talk about some of that stuff too. I gotta be honest. I know that people think it's typical or cringe, but I do
It's
think
not,
it's
bro. It's so popular, bro.
it's popular as hell. But I think it's popular for a reason. Like there's a lot
Absolutely.
of fucking
And
young men out there who are lost.
lost. And they want to feel empowered, man, because these bitches are so out of control. They're so wild, bro. What the fuck? You ever
I
try?
like them
I
a little
mean, I
wild.
know I'm out of the game. You've been out of the game. Like, come on. These bitches are crazy. You don't
Well, I'm not
understand.
really out of game. I'm never
But
really
I
out of
know what
game.
you
But
mean. But you know what I mean. Like,
I know. Yeah,
you
yeah.
don't
I'm,
go.
I'm
You
more
don't. I'm
so.
not saying you're out of the game. Like
I
you're not
used to be
single.
ridiculous. I used to. Yeah, we
I'm
used to be
saying like you
fucking
just don't go to the
stupid.
clubs.
Bro, we used to be fucking
Oh yeah. Oh
ridiculous.
yeah. We were
That's all we
dummies.
did. It was kind of a waste of time, honestly. Like
Yeah, it
looking back
is.
at it.
I won't. But yeah, they're all these hoes. They're making these men feel so powerless. You can't tell me what to do. I'm a woman. I have rights. Yeah, you have more rights. More rights than I do. There's nothing that you can do or that I can do that you can't do. You can't name
Here's the thing. Although I agree with you, I have to be honest. I think it's more on us than it is on them.
Absolutely.
That's just what it is, and that's why we have to shed more light on it. I don't think there's ever going to be enough voices talking about the realistic understanding of our our being a man. Like just nothing's wrong. There's never like just as like I was gonna say that
It's
there's
not
tons of
misogynist.
people out there. There's tons of people out there giving women love, women equality, this and that. There's endless and endless content of that. Um, but the moment men want to do it, it's just called toxic. That's why I'm like, you know what? The more people that do it, the better, because we need to understand that, like, yeah, men are suffering too. We have the highest suicide rates. We work
Right.
60 hours a week. People are fucking struggling out here.
Yep.
Like, men are not necessarily.
And
Not all men are
they get
privileged.
in
Maybe some of the rich
loveless
ones.
they get
Yes,
in
I can admit
loveless
that.
they get in loveless marriages with disrespectful women who cheat on them and do crazy shit like max out their credit cards and crash their cars, you know, and they hate themselves. And then they get on OnlyFans.
So max out their cards and crash their cars.
They do, bro. Come on. And they fuck the doctor so they can get the benzos. You know how it goes, bro.
I'm weak. Yeah, it sounds like the suburban mom. Like
It's literally the thing. Like it's the meme.
that's the meme.
Yeah. It's like the weeds meme or whatever. So,
Oh shit.
um,
Yeah.
like Cynthia, that's her name, right?
I never actually saw the show, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Anyway, um, yeah, and so these men they get on OnlyFans and they're like, well, I hate my wife, so I'm gonna find this bitch on OnlyFans and talk to her. And then you think it's just that shit, but they're just crying. And yeah, and then they kill themselves. It's awful. And that's because yeah, these hoes that have had like 100 men. You see what I'm saying? 100 men. They've been with hundreds of men. And so they don't respect you at all. To them, you're just another piece of meat, and that's not good for Western society at all.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. I don't even think they're even an important part. Like hoes or same thing with douchebags. Like it's kind of the same thing. Well, I guess you could say they make up the minority if you look at it like a mainstream thing because it's becoming more popular to be like a thought,
Yeah.
becoming more pop. But it's also becoming more popular to be just some dumbass dude who just sits around watches porn all day and like
Yeah.
sits around, smokes weed, and just gets lazy. Like that's pretty popular. Like it's kind of the same thing. I think men have the same issues that women have. But at the same time, I don't want to necessarily blame women because I think they're struggling in a lot of similar ways.
Oh, I mean, I don't blame women. It's a psyop, bro.
Yeah, it's kind of just to
It's what
basically
it's what
drug up society and get
yeah.
everyone to
It's
be
what they
lulled
want.
down.
They want blacks versus whites, Republicans against Democrats, men versus women.
We haven't seen actual unity like as far as like anti-government shit since Occupy Wall Street.
Yeah.
It is 2022 and I have not seen like I actually literally have not seen a bunch of people get together from all different political backgrounds, racial backgrounds since Occupy Wall Street. I think the powers that be definitely saw that and were like, oh, okay, we gotta put some gender in there, some sex in there, some this and that. We gotta stop this from happening because they're actually getting close to the source of all the power.
Well, I haven't seen any here in America. I'll give you that. There's been
Wait,
like
seen what?
any like
Oh, like major, yeah, yeah.
unifications, but like the Canadian truck protest, bro. That shit, people were like, oh, whatever, truckers are being that was no joke, bro. They blocked the border.
Yeah, Sri Lanka right now?
Oh yeah, that's what I was about to say. Sri Lanka,
Nutty.
nutty, bro. They just fucking walked up in that fucking mansion and said, this shit's ours now.
Yeah.
We pay for this shit, so it's ours now.
And they were like surprised. They're like, wow, they have air conditioning? Like we don't even have electricity in our homes over here.
Yeah.
Like, damn, like man, governments are so fucking
There was
horrible. I
like
gotta be honest,
there's like 100.
Michael Malice got me to be a fucking anarchist, bro. I hate government, like in all forms now. Like we should just have no government, just community-based governments only. Like just communities running each other. That's it.
I mean, I definitely don't think that the Republicans are any better than Democrats. That's evidenced by everything that's happened this last year.
As evidenced by every Republican before the last few Democrats.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
The founders never wanted political parties. Um, Everything used to be like that. Used to be community governments. Your local government was more powerful than the federal government. That's how
Yeah,
it
they didn't
used to
make
be.
law. They didn't make laws for 300 million people.
That's what I'm saying. Your local government
Shit.
used to be more powerful than the Fed.
Right.
It wasn't until the Fed that the Fed became so powerful. Until we went from gold to dollars. You have to understand, man. People used to walk around with valuable shit on them. Gold, silver. You know what I mean? Like rubies, diamonds, valuable shit. Shit that's hard to find.
Yeah.
People don't do that anymore. They walk around with paper and plastic cards, and they think they're worth something. You know? That shit doesn't have any value. They print more of it every day. It's so easy to make it, and it goes away so quickly. If it had value, then it would be hard to find, hard to get, and you wouldn't want to get rid of it because you didn't know when you would get more. That's how it used to be. But it's not
Hmm.
like that anymore because of the Fed, because of the federal banking system. Which is controlled by who? Oh, the Illuminati. So,
Literally not a government.
we know it's the Illuminati. They have all the money. So, they are definitely the Illuminati. Whether you want to say they're like a secret society, Satanist that murdered children, whatever, that doesn't matter. If there is a secret society of people that control the world, it's them. It's the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Carnegies, like those people, those banking families.
Yeah, companies, giant corporations, anyone with all the money, pretty much all the
They
money,
have
because
all the money.
politicians don't make that much money. Like, we all know that now. We know politicians, we know their salaries. So, they're definitely owned by the mega trillionaire billionaires.
Yeah, they don't make that much money in salary, yet they all seem to be worth $10 to $80 million.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, literally, Nancy Pelosi literally basically didn't even, like, when they asked her, about insider trading, she was like, it's America. I'm like, what? We're not allowed to do it. So, why can you do it? Like, makes no sense.
She's like, nah, this is America. I should be able to.
Free trade. And anyway, next question. I'm like, what? You can't just gloss over that. Like, you're making money off of insider trading, and we can't do that. Come on, we can
No,
all be rich. I believe wealth is a. I believe Naval when he said wealth is a positive sum game. Like, we can all own a house. We can all have enough money to be fine. It's possible, but it's just people are not playing fair or whatever. And I guess obviously life is not fair, but it's just it's corruption. That's the problem. It's corruption. Like that's the killer of everything that's good.
but you can't do anything about corruption.
I guess you really can't because people are just corrupt.
So you have two options. You can either play the game extremely fairly, to the best of your ability, with the least amount of resistance, or you can go corrupt. You know? And
Yeah.
now you know why people go corrupt. Because it's like, okay, bro, I'll pay you $100 million to shut the fuck up. Like, you're just gonna shut the fuck up, bro.
My lips are sealed, sir.
Thank you. Do I get that now or in like 10 mil at a time? What are we talking?
Almost. You just sent me an ETH.
Yeah, I swear. Like that's what it is, bro. That's how the media works. They're just like, all right, 50 million. You don't report ivermectin. They're like, okay, bet. You know.
Oh
They're
man.
like, all right, 25 million. You tell them 300,000 people have died this week from COVID. They're like, bet, easy. You know, it's the and it's like, okay, well now I'm rich. I can go fuck off on a boat somewhere. And I don't have to come back to NBC, but I'm gonna keep coming back because they're gonna keep paying me $10 million to keep my mouth shut. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
if I do this for 20 years, I'll have $200 million, and I'll go fuck off on a boat somewhere. But you don't want to get rich that way, do you?
Personally, no,
Yeah, me either.
because I have. I guess you can call it pride. I mean, I just hell no. Fuck that.
Yeah, you don't want to be a ruler of hell, as Jordan Peterson says. It's like, yeah, think of someone like Genghis Khan. That guy left a literal carbon footprint. He changed the Earth's DNA. They say that every single person that's living on the planet right now is related to Genghis Khan. That's how many people he raped, pillaged. Yeah, it's fucked up. That guy, by all metrics and standards, super wealthy, had, 100,000 women or whatever. Very successful, but also one of the most feared and most murderous people in human history. So, do you want to be like that guy? No. But at the same time, you don't want to be like Obama. You don't want to be like, you know.
An empty suit.
Yeah, you don't want to be like Joe Biden, I guess.
That's what pretty much every politician is, except for Trump. He was obviously himself. But yeah, generally speaking, every politician is just an empty suit. And I'm not gonna sit here and lie like Trump didn't take any money. Like, of course he did. That's what every politician does. That's what they all fucking do. They're all just empty suits, and they're paid by interests, and all their policies are by interest, and like that's just all it is. That's why I hate government. That's why I don't think politics is. It's just all. It's that there was a popular saying, or I don't know if it's popular, but it was a really awesome saying that goes, politics is just the theater department of the military.
That's
That's
actually
it.
a great statement.
That's fantastic because that's exactly what it is. It's
Yeah.
just about it's the military industrial complex. It's about taking over other countries. We're always at war. I've never believed we were out of war. It's impossible. We're never out of war. We're always in other
Yeah,
countries
people
stationed
are like,
somewhere.
Trump didn't start a war. I'm like, well, yeah, but we were still in Afghanistan for.
We were still in Libya. We're still in Ukraine or whatever. We're stationed everywhere. Like we're all over the place. We've been overthrowing democratically elected people for
Oh,
many years. The CIA has been doing that shit for a long time.
Since the beginning of the CIA, we've been staging
Yes.
coups. And that's why
100%.
that's dude, like everyone's like, "Oh, the mafia killed JFK." And then they killed JFK cuz he was going to end the Fed. No. They killed JFK because he said he was going to dismantle the CIA. That's why they killed JFK, and that's the only reason they killed JFK. And if you don't believe it, just go read the files that have been unredacted because Trump signed an executive order saying they had to release it, where the CIA admits that they killed JFK. So, like, they literally were like, "Yeah, we trained the guy that shot him, um, and then he probably missed, so we just had some backups there, just in case, he missed."
He probably missed.
I mean, he was a terrible shot and like a disgraced Russian defector communist fuck who was like probably crazy. But they did train him to take the shot, and he probably missed. It doesn't matter because he got shot like 5 times. But the point is, yeah, they killed him because he said he was gonna fuck them up because he said secret societies are abhorrent, and like any civilization that wanted to progress like forward needed to like destroy all secret societies. So he was gonna dismantle the CIA and the FBI, and like I guess he was talking about like you know, the New World Order, and then they fucking killed him. So, and then his son said the same shit, and then they killed him too.
Did you hear Kevin Samuel? Do you know who Kevin Samuels is?
No.
Really? He's shit. He's a red pill, one of the red pill guys. You can call him that. I don't even think he necessarily calls himself that. I can't believe you never heard of him. Wow. Well, anyway, he was a G. He was like top G basically.
Yeah.
The grandfather. Everyone called him the grandfather. He just died, and I was like, wow. Okay.
What? He died.
Just recently, like in May, I was like, I didn't even know about it, and I was following him for a minute. But
Like, he died.
they were saying, oh, I saw that. We can end it here, bro. We had a long talk.
No, you're good. I just gotta plug in.
Oh,
I was eating dinner.
the good old steak.
Anyway, Kevin Samuels died.
Yeah, he's
he
dead
old?
now. It sucks. Decently, I had not that. No, he was 57. But they were saying he had actually beaten cancer, so he went through chemo and radiation and all that, and then on top of that, apparently after the information got out, he had like hypertension. That's kind of what killed him, I guess. I'm not really sure exactly. I kind of just learned about it today, but they were saying a lot of his viewers were saying, well, he was always talking about working 60+ hour work weeks, and on top of that, he was always chugging a bunch of Red Bulls. Especially if you have hypertension and high blood pressure, and you're chugging a bunch of Red Bulls, like energy drinks are not good for you if you
you're
have
gonna
high blood
die.
pressure.
That's pretty guaranteed.
Yeah,
Like if
and
you chug Red Bulls and you have hypertension, guess what?
Yeah.
That's a comment. That's you just like cocktail. It's like death
Yeah.
cocktail. So that doesn't surprise me, I guess. But I'll check his content. I don't watch content, to be honest. Really, I've just been spamming Andrew Tate because he's been like all over my feed, and then I listen to his
Yeah,
shit.
he's blown up.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
yeah, he's all over my shit, and I listen to it, and I'm like, God damn, this guy's so base. I played that shit for my wife. Just think about that. I played that shit for my wife.
She's probably like, what the hell?
She was saying there like, holy fuck, and I was like, are you saying that because you disagree, or are you saying that because like, is it hitting home? Like, I don't know what to say. Like, this guy's he's top G. Like, and I was like, and she's like, you don't like, she's like, I don't know what to say. She's like, you don't want to act like this, do you? Because he's just like talking about like having a baby and then fucking other women and blah blah. I was like, no, this guy's worth like $500 million. You know what I mean? He's had 86 professional fights. Like he's a top G. I was like, I'm not in that situation. But this is the point is like it's not about the bitches. It's not about the cars. It's about the
Really
money.
not.
It's about the money. It's
To
about
me, it's really, and well, here's the thing. It's even deeper than that. What is the money about?
yeah. It's about the
It's about the
status.
freedom. No, fuck status. That's bullshit. It's about the freedom. Status doesn't really exist. It's fake.
Fair enough.
Just like money, just like everything else.
Well,
You know.
status isn't fake. It just doesn't matter. Because status is just like what other people
Okay, good
think of
point.
you.
Good point. It's a delusion, but it is real. But
It
it is a
is real,
delusion.
but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter as much as people think it does. And it's gotten worse since social media. People really, really care about status. But when you're talking about making content and you're talking about getting famous, you have to you have to consider your status. It was very important because like if you're just like, if you're not like coming with the hot shit, then no one's going to care. And so you have to come with the hot shit, you know? But anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, like, yeah, when you're talking about getting famous, status is important. But when you're talking about making money on the back end, like flipping houses and you're like cash cow YouTube shit, like that doesn't, like, you're right. That shit's delusional and it doesn't matter. And I have given up on, like I was saying, I've given up on status and like watching other people's content, caring about what other people are doing and like how much money they have because that doesn't matter. Like, how much do I have? Like, what have I done? What am I accomplishing? Like, am I doing better today than I was yesterday? That's like what I'm on right now. I just want to keep getting better. Like, I just believe in constant self-improvement nowadays. I don't think that humans have limitations. I'm going to smoke weed. So, that's why my computer is freaking out, but it's fine. Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking at your screen for some reason.
No, you're fine. I closed the tab for a second. Um, yeah, I don't believe in human limitations. I think that that whole 10% of our brain shit is like bullshit. I just think that humans can only understand 10% of what the brain is capable of. There's so much going on up there. Like, the last 50 years have just like been so fucking incredible. Like like in the time it took people, and someone said this to me yesterday, actually. The time it took people to go from iron swords to steel swords, we went from like guns to nuclear weapons in 50 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like from iron to steel, we went from like point over here, kill over there to fucking blow up an entire continent. And blow up the entire world if we wanted. Because we have enough nukes to nuke the entire world like 10 times over. It's like 250 like warheads or some shit. It's fucking insane. Like, and they're stationed in every country, in every military base that we have in like 140 countries, some shit. It's crazy. Like, that, you wanna know why people don't fuck with us? That's why. But we're not the only ones. China's on that come up, baby. They're on that come up.
Yeah.
They're on the come up, baby. They're pushing hard.
They're gonna kill Saul.
Nah, that doesn't matter. They can't do shit to us, bro. Invade America. See what fucking happens, baby. 150 million registered gun owners. Think about that. 150 million registered gun owners. That doesn't account for people who are criminals, people who bought their guns from their neighbor, people who got their guns from their dads, people who don't have registered guns. Like, bro, there's probably 250 million guns in circulation in the US alone. There's 350 million people in the US. So, like, just somebody come over here, please. I hope they send the UN over here to try to like take our guns and see what happens. Bro, it's not gonna happen. That they don't want the smoke. They got to get rid of the guns first. That's the plan. Slowly
Yeah,
but
good luck.
yeah, exactly. Same thing. Good luck. You just got people who are gonna bury that shit in the forest and like, you know, I'm not gonna speak on my own armory or whatever, but like, you know, if they come to my house, I don't have any guns, as far as they know. So that's all I'm saying. Like, and I know a lot of people who feel the same way, who, if somebody came, they would be ready, you know. But at the same time, if somebody showed up and was like, "Hey, you got any guns?" They'd be like, "Nah." But they're ready, and I have a spot. Like I already know where I'm going if like if that shit starts, if the Civil War starts. Like I've got my spot picked out. It's a good 10-acre stretch. My homie Special Ops, he's got like every firearm you could ever need. We're good. We're just gonna chill out there and fish on his property, and it's like some Walking Dead shit, you know. We're just gonna wait for the apocalypse to end, cause they really want that. They would really. I don't think they're pushing for it. I think they would just really prefer if people just killed each other instead of them having to do some kind of mass extinction event. You know, like another pandemic, but one that like actually kills people instead of like COVID, where it's like, oh, only old people and sick people die. No, they want that like mass, like 33% of people die, type shit. I think that is like, if like we get out of hand, I think they'll just drop that one real quick. They'll just be like, oh, another pandemic, and even if it's not real, you know, the way media and information flows, like they could just tell you that it's real, and it worked so well with the last one. You'd have so many SJWs and fucking like, you know, virtue signalers coming up to you and be like, bro, do you not understand? Like 30% of the population could die. You gotta put a mask on. You gotta, please. You're not protecting me by not protecting yourself. That's why you need to get 3 vaccines. Please. My protection's not good enough, so I need you to be protected.
Oh, I guess it's time to boss up then, huh?
Yeah, in every form. Monetarily, physically, mentally, emotionally, in your relationships with your men and your women. You need to be a monster in every aspect of your life. You also need to understand your limitations. How many people do you think know if they're like, if they truly have what it takes to take someone's life or like defend themselves in a life or death situation in the current generation, and you're in my age people, how many people do you think have sat and thought about that? It's like, would I be really down to like defend myself if like some shit went down and like I needed to like, you know, defend my woman, or like, you know, 10 guys jump me in an alley or whatever? Like, am I ready? Like, are you ready? I'm ready. I know exactly what I would do. I might die because like 10 guys in an alley, I'm probably not going to make it out. But, you know, I still have a plan, and I'm completely like aware of what would happen and how it would go down. I would probably take 2 or 3 with me for sure, maybe 4 if I like juke the first 2 enough to kill the third and then get the other 2, like, you know. I've thought about it a lot. But the point is, like, It's not just those situations. It's like every situation. You have to think about like what am I willing to sacrifice to make this happen? You know, what am I willing to lay out like on the line to put like myself in this situation where I come out on top? And I had to think like that because I play a competitive game. Like I was like, what am I willing to sacrifice to become better at game? Like, and I've come to realize it's not a lot because I don't actually care that much
Well, at
about.
the end of the day, it's not real. It's just a game.
Yeah, that's the
So
thing.
how could you ever care that much unless it's like unless it's like your number one passion? But it is a game at the end of the day.
Yeah, even then, like even if it was my number one passion, like if I put too much weight on it, like it becomes like
It
work.
becomes a detriment.
Well, it becomes work, you know? And I'm working, not necessarily for someone else, but for some unobtainable thing that I've thought up in my head like, "Oh, I want to be like the best in the world." It's like that's subjective. At the at like first of all, it's super subjective like who's the best in the world, like just like it's subjective who's the greatest of all time. Like, sometimes you might just play like shit. Sometimes your controller might just be shit, and then you just like fucking lose the tournament. And they're like, "Oh my god, he's not best in the world anymore." It's like, well, maybe not. It doesn't matter. Like he just lost the tournament. You know, like you can look at his statistics over time and compare him to everyone else, and then you have to get into the discussion of who's the goat. And like, no, that's not the point. The point is you just like play the best of your ability. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and that's the game. And it's like you said, it's just like the resistance is what makes you fail, though. Where it's like, okay, well, I'm up against the wall, blah blah blah. I'm gonna try harder. No, it's like you gotta stop thinking and just like execute what you know, and like let it flow. You can't just like go into your head and start thinking about all the things you fuck up and like all that shit. It just doesn't work. It never works. It's never worked for anyone. Anyone who just like focuses on their failures has never achieved any kind of success. Like ever. You have to learn from your mistakes, but you can't fixate on them because that's like the path to failure. It's literally the path to failure, the quickest path, in my opinion. And I have learned this, gleaned this from playing the game. Like, which is Super Smash Bros. Melee for the Nintendo GameCube. In case anyone was wondering.
This is the first time in my life where I've ever felt like I guess I've ever felt like I'm just constantly winning,
Yeah.
and I think it's because I'm making the rules now, and I'm just playing the way I want to, as far as life goes. Because I don't really play any competitive games, but life is my game. It's like
Yeah.
I'm just playing my life, and I think the mindset is it's more important. It's really about understanding, uh, freedom from, I guess you could say, the mind. Because the mind is what creates failures and stuff like that. But like failures are just really experimentation. It's like I tried something, didn't go, it didn't get the result that I wanted, so I'm gonna experiment and try something else. But people are too fixated on getting it right the first time, or maybe failing something and then like giving up. But that's true failure, is giving up. But I mean, if you don't give up, you don't really fail. That's really how life works. I mean, there is no failure. It's not a true concept. It's false. Now, yeah, you can get an answer wrong, like a math equation, sure. But when we're talking about life is way more abstract. It's not mechanical like a math equation. It's an art, and there's no wrong in art. And art is not teachable either. Like you can't teach somebody art, just like you can't teach somebody life. So it's kind of similar, even though we went from a game to life. It's still a similar mindset where you're like, okay, well, how do I just get out of my own way? The greatest of all time are not sitting there thinking about, you know, is this gonna work or not? They're actually just letting their body and not their mind, but their intelligence. They're letting their body and their intelligence move on their natural accord. And that's why there's no room to think, because they're not thinking. I don't even like I really believe when you look at the greatest of all time in anything, they're not necessarily, especially in a game like Melee, they're not thinking about the combo they're gonna set up. No, there's zero thoughts in their head. And if there are thoughts in their head, they're probably gonna lose.
Yeah.
Because
That's
you
and
can't
you can
sit
see
there.
it. You can see it when people start thinking in the game and they just stand
Yes.
still and they're just like fucking like what shielding, like what are we gonna do?
And then Hungry Box grabs them.
Yeah. And he's like,
And they get
oh, they're
fucked.
shielding, grab, LOL, up throw. Oh, they missed the tech, LOL, up air, rest, die, bye. Oh, you come down and you do what? You nair forward because you're scared. Okay, LOL, I know, I get it. I 100%. They're thinking. They're like, oh, I'm scared. I gotta hit him, And he's not thinking that. He's just like playing the game, moving around. Oh, you threw out some shit. I grab you. Okay, up throw. Oh, you missed the tech. Okay, got you. Get you again, because that's what I do. It's just like flow, flow, flow. You know, I've played that
Yeah.
guy. I played that guy more than any player in Alabama. I know. I know what he's thinking. I played him like 6 fucking times with Puff in best of fives, and like, holy fuck, dude. Like, and I've never gotten four stuck by him. But damn, because I'm like the best fucking fox against Jigglypuff, and I'm in Alabama, and I retain that until I die. But fuck, I felt it. I was just like, he's not even trying. Like, he's not even thinking about what he's doing to me. It's just like natural for him. Just does it, you know. Doesn't have to like come up with it on the spot or whatever. And it's not because he like knows the combo either. Sometimes like sure there's some setups, but like it's not that. It's just like he knows what's gonna happen if I do this and he does that, and he just does it. He doesn't have to think about it. He just does it. Doesn't have
And
to
that's called specific knowledge. You
Yeah.
can't teach that.
Yeah, you can't teach it.
You can tell someone how to combo. You can teach somebody how to combo Puff as many times as you want, but they're never gonna have the specific knowledge until they really. And that's what you would call like doing the work, quote unquote. But it's really more. It's deeper than that.
It's way deeper.
And that applies to everything. It's like because I don't really understand melee that much, but like it applies to life too. It's just a mentality. If you want to win in life, if you want to actually do something, well, if you want to have, because what I'm interested in is performance. That's me. Like I'm Dreams. I care about performance. That's just me. Everything I talk about, every conversation, I'm obsessed almost. Like I really want to maximize my days. I want like a lot of efficiency, and I'm not gonna lie. I want to rest a lot too. Like I rest a lot on purpose. But I think that goes into the same thing. How do you get ultimate performance? I would rather rest more than force myself to, let's say, study, some JavaScript or something, because I'm just starting JavaScript recently, and I tried to force myself to study at some points because I was getting like anxious or something. I was like, oh, I gotta learn this quickly. No, because I would have 2 or 3 hours of poor studying. When in actuality, if I just took a break and then like just did 30 minutes to an hour of really solid, focused, like pure like my phone isn't even near me, like I'm not even thinking. I'm just in that flow state. That is when you retain an insane amount of information, and it goes with everything. It's like even you used to tell me that with Melee, like don't just practice, don't just sit there and press buttons, like really understand the game. And I think it's same thing with life. It's just you can't just sit there and play. You can't just sit there and practice. It's really about getting out of your own way, taking the breaks necessary, taking a step back. Like I take a lot of breaks now, I really do. But it's the best way for me, at least what I found is like just these breaks are not necessarily me being lazy because they don't even last that long. I'll take like a 5 minute break. I'll just step away from the computer. I'll step away from my music. I'll step away from my coding. I'll come back in 30 minutes. Maybe I'll go for a walk, go for a bike ride, and I'll just come back understanding a problem that I had or from earlier. That problem will just be solved or something. My brain just kind of there's actually something called a diffuse mode thinking, and basically, I might butcher it. I took like some deep learning course. It was free, and basically it's very interesting. It's kind of like a way to hack your brain. You have a mode of learning where when you are not studying and you're doing something else that doesn't require a lot of brain activity, your brain is cementing the things that you were learning earlier, but behind the scenes. It's like subconscious. So let's say let's say you practice Melee for a couple hours, you play against someone who's better than you for a little while, then you stop and don't play for a whole day or for a few hours, and then you go do anything else that doesn't require a lot of brain activity, like you're just gonna go take a nap, or you're just gonna go read a book, and you're just gonna go chill, go have coffee with a friend, and just laugh
Or
and
just
chill,
sit there
completely
and do
forget,
nothing. Yeah.
completely forget about Melee, just completely forget about it, and then your brain is gonna cement that shit even better. So I've been doing that a lot.
Absolutely. Like I was saying the other day, the whole learning triangle thing, like the most important part of it is to sleep. When you do all the 3 steps, when you like play the game and you practice what you fucked up, and you play the game and you analyze what you fucked up, and then you practice that thing, and then you sleep, and then you do that again, and you just play the game again, and you practice, or analyze, and you practice, and you sleep. And
Yeah.
sleep doesn't necessarily mean sleep. It just means like rest on the thing that you just did. It's like for however long you need to, you just don't touch the game. And then when you come back to the game, you play it again and you analyze the game, how you fucking fucked up, what you did well too. It's very important to point out what you did well and what you did wrong, because God, the most important concept that I've heard from a podcast in the last like 3 months is that the reason that it feels good when you win is because it feels bad when you lose. If it didn't feel bad when you lose, then it wouldn't feel good when you win. And that is so fundamentally like I'm going to teach my kids that. You know what I mean? Because like, when kids like they're playing a soccer game, they lose a soccer game, they cry. Why are you crying? Well, we lost. Well, yeah, somebody has to lose because then the other team wouldn't feel good. Now, next time when you win, you're going to feel great because you lost this time. But if you had won this time, you'd feel good. Next time you win again, you're like, "Eh." You know what I mean? That's why you have to lose sometimes. And it's important to know how to lose and lose gracefully. And lose like when you lose, you should be thankful. And this is something Daigo Umehara wrote about in his book. He's like the greatest Street Fighter player of all time. He was like, when someone beats you, you should be thankful because they know something you don't. You should take that as a learning experience, you know? You should ask them questions. You should be like, how the fuck did you beat me? And you take that knowledge and you like analyze your game and then you practice that shit and then you rest. And you play again. And then maybe you lose. But that's fine because you should be thankful because you still have more shit to learn. You know what I mean? And that's like so goddamn. Oh, it's so fucking good. It's so good.
Or what you could do is, well, I guess it depends on what I started realizing is the idea of like winning and losing and competition. It kind of breeds mediocrity, um, because like, and I think we did talk about this one time, like where if you compete with somebody, you basically become them because in order to beat them, you only have to do 1 inch more than them. That beats them. That's enough to beat them. 1 inch. But if, for instance, if Usain Bolt didn't slow down when he knew he had a lead, how fast could he really go? And
Yeah.
I think that's really important because I gotta be honest. I think that makes a lot of sense to me. I've heard someone talk about this. His name is Kapil Gupta, and I really believe this now because it's just the truth. It's just the solid truth of it, and almost nobody thinks like this. Almost no, I've never met a single other person who thinks like this. But it's real. It's literally the moment you introduce the idea of a prize or a winner or loser, it breeds mediocrity. If it goes and it's just kind of a human thing. Like it is somewhat natural for people to do that. It seems like because that's just it always comes up. People even since the dawn of time, games have always existed, and it creates either a winner or a loser or a prize or whatever. But if you take that out and it's just playing the game and turning it into a complete art, that is, I think, when you're gonna find the most uh, I guess the highest level of performance. And I would even argue that some of the best of the world, even though they are competing, I would even argue that if you ask them like what really matters to them, a lot of times they look back. Like even Mike Tyson now, even in some of his interviews, he's like, "Man, fuck these belts, fuck these trophies. Like, I just wanted to be the best I could be. Like, I just wanted to be the best version of me. Like, I just wanted to go as hard as I could."
And
Some
not
of the
let
greats
fucking
are doing that in their head.
yeah.
It's an art.
No,
It
and
became
like
it's abstract.
like look at Mango. Like that guy is obviously one of the most talented people to ever fucking play the game.
Yeah.
He can do whatever the fuck he wants. He can play whatever fucking character he wants and get like fucking 6th place, 5th place at the tournament. It doesn't matter. If he wanted to win, he would just go Fox and win the tournament. Why does he play Falco? Why does he continue to play in tournaments even though he's like 30 years old and he has a kid and a wife and he makes plenty of money streaming? because it's to him it's just an art form. Now he doesn't have to like go watch some old Mango. Like bro, that's try hard Mango. Like he really wanted
Yeah.
to win. He didn't have anything else. Like he was broke. You know, that was his life. And he like I mean he played Fox and it was not pretty. It was not nice. It was just like fucking shy spike, shot. You know, it was filthy. You know, he played Puff in tournament, you know, to beat like Mewtwo King. Like it's fucked up, like what he did to people. And like it wasn't nice. But now, like to him, like he doesn't give a fuck if he gets 13th at the tournament. All he wants is the clips for his stream, so he can just be like, "Look at the sick Mango combo. Look at that. Look at that." You know, who does that? Who hits you like that, baby? You know, like that's his shit. Like he doesn't care about, and like I feel like most top players are the same way nowadays because they make so much money on their content. They don't have to like play the game for like competition sake and like who cares who's the best in the world. They're like we're all disgusting. Like nobody's gonna
Yeah.
beat us, you know. Like and we can just like do the filthiest shit to each other in tournament and just like keep the game alive forever by just doing nasty fucking combos to each other and nobody's like everyone's like what the fuck never seen this shit before. Yeah, well, we see this shit every day, you know. That's like people are like, oh, top players never like fucking show any emotion when they win. I'm like, yeah, because they just like fucking play each other all the time and like do the most disgusting shit to each other. Nowadays, especially because of Slippy, fuck that. Like, and so I s- I want to agree with you here, where it's like, because I do agree that like you should not compete with people. Um, ever. You should only compete with yourself, like 100% of the time. But I still do believe that you should compete with yourself. So, because
Well, at that point, it's not really competing anymore.
well, I mean,
It's just going.
but if you like,
It's just
I guess
doing it.
I guess my point is like you should make it a game. Like you should make it fun to be better than yourself.
Why? Because that creates a limit already. That's immediately limit because you started that sentence with "you should." That's a rule. At the moment you put a rule into it, it becomes a limitation. Oh, I have to do this now? Like, leave everything alone. Let it come out. Let it flow. I mean, I know this is some woo woo stuff. I get it, but I that's just truly how I feel. I think I don't even think it's about feeling. It's just the truth. I think the truth of the matter is, once you let somebody do what it is completely natural to them, they're like and by the way, it's not like anybody can just do this. This is not the kind of this isn't just for anybody. Like this is for the people who just want to be great at something. So that's a very small percentage of people. But like at the end of the day, that's how they become that way. They don't become that way giving themselves rules or putting thoughts in their head like I have to do this, I have to do this. Sometimes they do, and sometimes they do, but I would even argue that's limiting them. But how could I talk if I'm not the greatest? So I get it, but I really believe as a mental blockage that does become a problem. It's like a self-created resistance. Oh, I have to beat myself. You don't have to do anything. There's no goal to anything. It's just push to whatever limit, just go as hard as you can at all times. But like at the same time, it doesn't have to take energy. Like it doesn't have to take effort. It's not necessarily an effort. It's just an art form at that point. It's so abstract because especially when you become the greatest. When you can teach somebody. It's not abstract to teach somebody an L cancel, for instance, but it is abstract to say like, okay, how do I beat the top 8 people? That's very abstract because it becomes an art form at that point. It's just very deep and intensive, and that's why I say like it's not about competition anymore. Because if you keep competing with the best players, you're never going to be better than the best players. You're always going to be top 10 because you're just beating the top 10. But if you're just going as hard as you possibly can, I'm using that word, I'm ironically softly, take it with a grain of salt because I don't like the idea of hard work or effort. It doesn't make any sense. It just creates resistance, and that puts a block on you. It limits you. It limits your mind.
Yep.
I know it sounds crazy, but
No,
it's because no one talks like this. It's because nobody understands this.
It doesn't sound crazy. I understand. I do understand what you're saying. Where it's like the more you push on it, the more it's gonna push back, basically.
That which you chase will run from you.
Yeah, of course, because that's how that's how the world. That's how science. That's like
It's just the universe, yeah.
It's the universe, like physics. You know, like if you push on it, it pushes back. That's physics. You know.
Just like getting out of the way of your pure intelligence and like natural flow. I mean, for instance, like how does a river become better? I have a feeling the river that's flowing down there is literally at its peak. But why can't we do that? I said this to somebody once and said, how I told them, I was like, "What do you think the tree is putting a lot of effort into itself just standing there?" And the guy was like, "Well, we're not trees." I'm like, "Yeah, why are we? Why? So if we're smarter, why can't we figure out our truest peak, our biggest potential? What's in our way then? If we're better than trees, if we're smarter than it, are we really smarter than trees? Why does it take zero effort for the river to flow? Because nature is not they don't have a mind in their way. We have a mind, but we are still of the earth. Like, the earth is just the earth. We are all from the earth. We are all earthlings, just like the trees, just like the plants, just like the bird that effortlessly flies and is completely present in the moment. It's not thinking about the future that does not exist. It is not thinking about the past that does not exist. It is not planning out conversations before they happen. No, it does none of that. It doesn't think about, how do I fly a little bit better than that other bird. No, they're all just going by their own accord. Human beings are full of potential, but we're not able to access all of it because we put all these little weird limitations, like competition, like, how do I beat this next guy next to me? Why? You could be 1,000 times better and you don't even know it, but you limit yourself to just doing one more inch than that person. Let me just copy them a little bit. Let me just learn their techniques, and then I can learn how to beat that couple. I can learn how to beat a couple of their techniques. Like, no, just
Yeah.
be as good as you can. Just take your art to the farthest you can.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I just, like, I don't know what to say. I 100% agree. I don't.
Well, I mean,
believe-
we're all brainwashed. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and
Yeah,
like pretend like,
I was gonna say that, man. I was gonna say, like, I think a lot of that has to do with the way that people were raised from the, like, now, like, the
yes,
beginning of time
100%.
until now. And it's like, we were raised on, like, hard work and effort, and you want to be better than the guy next to you. You want to be the top of your class, so that
Yes,
you go to a good school, you get a scholarship, you don't have to pay for college, blah blah blah, and then you become a doctor, but you have to be the best doctor, else you're not gonna get paid, blah blah blah. And it's just like, that's the American dream, right? And it's not, actually, because anyone that you talk to who's made actual money is like, oh no, oh no, no, I didn't go to school for like 30 years.
yeah. I hired a bunch of people. I hired people who went to school.
Yeah, I just hired a bunch of nerds who went to school and got brainwashed to do my dirty work. And maybe I borrowed a little bit of money and then paid it back immediately, and here I am. I have $50 million. Fuck with me, you know. And it's not as simple as ABC, but at the same time, like, getting rich isn't impossible like people think it is. It's not limited.
It's not even. I don't even think it's hard. I think
Yeah.
it's about desire. At the end of the
I don't-
day,
I
like
don't-
like I said,
I don't like
I
to
go into
throw
a lot of this
around the-
Buddhist style talk, but I think it really comes
don't-
down to, you're only gonna get it if you want it.
Yeah, I don't like to.
The
throw
reason
around
you don't have the reason somebody doesn't have something or isn't where they want to be is because they don't want it. That's why they're not there yet. Like, I can gladly say, I don't want it bad enough to be a millionaire because I'm not a millionaire. If I wanted it bad enough, I'd be there. It's just that simple.
Interesting.
But me admitting that is the only for sure way for me to realize I can get there. Because it's being honest is more pure. Because you have to move purely. I mean, all those people who are self-made millionaires or business owners or top melee players or top golf players, they all had to look at themselves honestly and say, I'm willing to give everything. I'm willing. It's a desire. It's almost a desperation. I would say it's like a desperation. Like, I will do anything to be the best at this, or I'm giving up my life. I'm trading my life for this. That's what Michael Jordan, like, or Tiger Woods. They gave their life to their art, their whole life to it. That's why they're the greatest. So it takes an insane level of understanding and desire
Dedication.
/ desperation to really get the things that you want. The only reason we don't have what we want is because we don't really want it.
Yeah.
There's things in our way.
There are things.
There's
in our way.
something in our way. And it's usually us. It's nothing else. There is no other. There is nothing on the outside. It's all internal conflict. Every conflict we've ever had is internal. And if we can figure that out and come to a full understanding, then you get to actually break it down and say, "Oh, okay. I get it now." But that takes some self-reflection and, like, meditation type of
Searching.
shit. That takes a lot.
Some soul searching, as they say.
Yeah, but think about all the greats. That's all they do.
Yeah, just
That's
reflect.
all they do.
Yeah, it's true. And I mean, when I'm talking about this learning triangle, I'm when I say analyze, I don't mean like analyze the person you're playing and like
Oh yeah, yeah,
I mean like analyze yourself.
yeah. Oh
It's
yeah,
very
yeah.
important that you like look at yourself, and that's like the most important thing actually. Is to just like look at what you
Look, yeah,
did. Look, use your eyes, not your fucking brain, not your dick, not your like ego, and your eyes, and look and see, like look and pause and be like, hey, I fucking did this, and this is what happened, you know. And that's this is the consequence of my action. Now, how can I make this better or worse? Or, like you have to think about everything because if you don't, then you might miss something and that can cost you like everything, you know? Or you have to hire somebody to do that for you. That's the millionaire strategy.
yeah. So that's kind of where I'm going with my wealth strategy. You know, as far I mean, obviously I'm in the beginning stages, but I understand that like obviously I can't do everything, and I'm already feeling a little bit thin just by trying to learn so many things at once. But I know for a fact that to really, if you want to do business, the truth about business is
You need
yes,
employees.
find people who love to do the things that you don't want to do.
Yep.
So find someone who's very passionate about video editing, give them your content, let them do the editing. You don't have to do everything. Maybe at first you can just to kind of save some money and get some cap. But like
And like
once you
know
get to
the
the point where you're like,
business.
okay, I'm running out of time. Yeah, outsource. Outsourcing is 100% the best thing you can do. It's just how you scale. It's how you scale.
Yeah. Knowing the business is important too. I do believe that if you want to start a successful business, you should know everything about it from the ground up. I don't think you should outsource everything from the beginning, because then you don't know anything about like your uh OOS, as they say, the order, or yeah, order of operations.
It's you can get taken advantage of. Like I'm
Yeah,
not gonna lie,
that's what
yeah.
I
If
was.
you
Yeah.
don't know how much it costs to get like say a video edited, and the guy's like, yeah, I'll charge you like $2,000, whatever. You're like, well, okay, sure, here you go. But like, you don't know how much it actually costs. You don't know how much work it actually takes.
Yeah.
If the person is like, yeah, you pay me by the hour, we're like, wow, did this really have to take 6 hours? I don't know. I've never edited a video before.
Exactly.
So like, I get what you're saying. I think it's important, definitely.
Yeah.
But it's all a matter of the same at the same time. It's all about what you really want to take the time to learn. Sometimes you're just not going to be able to take the time to learn everything, and all you can do is but that's where competition. That's the beauty of things like capitalist society or like a free trade society, where you're saying, okay, well, someone else is offering me the same thing for cheaper. I'm going to hire him instead,
Yeah.
or whatever. So that's all. That's always kind of how you can balance things out.
But don't give your money to China, kids. Keep your money here in the
All right,
US.
I think I'm ready to end it on that note.
Yeah, it's
Don't give your money to
9:30.
China.
I
Yeah,
think
I gotta wake up at 4.
yeah.
Oh,
Do this again. I'll do some editing.
yeah.
And
We might need to do that.
and yeah. What's tomorrow? Tuesday. Tomorrow I'm doing a tournament, so you should come to the tournament. Hey, everyone should come
I
to
don't have a ride, bro.
everyone should come to Bud's Place Games in Leeds for the Melee tournament. Happens every Tuesday. It might move days, but I'll advertise that for sure. Um, but anyway, yeah, I'll be doing that tomorrow. But I'm off Wednesday, so maybe we could run it again. So
Yeah, anytime. I mean, I'm home every day. I'm literally
yeah,
unemployed, so.
I know what you're doing. All right, buddy.
All right, man. I'll see you later.
Yep.